Hey, curious minds, welcome to the Robert and Crew Show, where nothing's off limits and everything's up for debate. I'm Robert, here with Crew and the awesome Julie, and let me tell you, Season 6 is our wildest ride yet. You like conspiracies? We've got 'em. From secret societies with handshake deals in shadowy rooms, to wild theories about weather control and UFOs zipping across the skies, I promise there's no rabbit hole too deep for us to dive into. Ever wondered if your neighbor's a lizard person? Or if the lights in the sky are just weather balloons? Or something a little more out of this world? Yeah, we talk about that. But it's not just mysteries and mayhem. We're also obsessed with history's weirdest moments, global news stories that never make the front page, and even the pop culture that shaped us. Batman debates, Assassin's Creed lore, classic horror films that made us sleep with the lights on, all fair game. And the best part? Our show isn't just us talking. We bring in special guests, listener questions, and wild interviews that might just blow your mind. Whether you're tuning in on Facebook, Twitch, or right here on YouTube, you're in for a mix of shock, laughs, and those, wait, seriously, moments. So if your brain loves a good mystery, join us every week. Hit subscribe, drop your weirdest questions, and let's unravel the world together, one wild episode at a time. This is the Robert and Crew Show. See you on the other side.
Welcome back to the Robert and Crew Show. As always, I'm your podcast host, Robert.
And I'm your podcast co-host, Cartel.
And I'm your co-host, Julie.
And tonight, what do we got for the audience, Cartel?
We got the one and only infamous, the Cartel.
Yeah, so tonight's episode will be about the Cartel, for sure. Now, I do want to start off, before we start this episode off, I want to apologize to everybody last night. I had something happen. My nerves freaked out. I had a panic attack and I got sick. So I ended the stream like at 40 minutes. That was not a full episode. That was entirely my fault and I felt sick. So that's why I had to get off and I apologize. We will make that right on the next series input for the Terminator or for the Skynet series.
Because we are doing a full-on series on the Skynet. We did the first part on Terminator and Terminator 2 and some videos from other Terminator films and a little bit about Skynet. So, but tonight, the Cartel.
So, Julie, what do you know about the Cartel?
Oh, I know they can be ruthless. They can strike at any time without you even knowing they're coming.
Where are they located?
I've always known there's a lot of them are in like Chicago, New York, probably California,
Where do they come from?
Mexico.
Yeah. So the cartels, they have their number one operations in Mexico and places like Honduras and Brazil and different South American countries. And they do have like probably certain sectors that branch off into different United States, like cities or whatever. But I don't know the statistics behind that. I will say that the cartel, not only are they ruthless, but they are extremely violent. They're natural born killers. That's
Yeah.
what I would call them. That's literally what I would call them. Because most of them, most of the higher ups, they're not going to let you live if you know too much.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, and a lot of the cartel in Mexico, I mean, at least according to the rumors, is they know how to deal with the police. They know how to bribe and they know how to get their way.
And there was a little incident a while back. I don't know if it was a publicity stunt or a prank, but apparently Neon, the influencer,
Right, the streamer, right?
the streamer, who is dating Sam Frank, another streamer, apparently he got captured by the cartel.
That's
Do we know if
probably like,
we
but
don't
we
know if it's
have
true
no
or not?
evidence of that.
Yeah, we don't know if it's true, but there was a rumor that he allegedly got kidnapped by the cartel.
But
So
that's
if
not to
it,
say that people haven't been kidnapped by the
yeah,
cartel. That does
yeah,
happen.
Oh
yes.
yeah.
Now, if it's true, uh, he's in my thoughts and prayers. Now, if it's fake, he's stupid for making a joke out of that because that's not something you should joke about.
Yeah, but it could be just somebody who joked about it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? There could just be somebody that put something together on the internet and said it was real. Like, bro, like there's so many different things it could be, especially if you saw that shit on TikTok, you don't know if it's true or not.
yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? Like it's all ridiculous shit. But I will say, the cartel has been known to have like they I know back in the day they found mass graves of like missing college kids. Have you ever heard about that? So allegedly, the cartel's to blame for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Allegedly, I don't know that to be sure.
And once that one famous guy, he ended up going to prison at Alcatraz for a while,
Is that
and I and he had a ghost appear to him, and he called him Little Jimmy. I forgot his name.
wait? Are you? He was a cartel member.
Yes, back in the old days.
I
I mean,
don't.
I know
Okay.
mob bosses.
Yes, it was a mob boss.
Yeah, it
Okay.
wasn't a cartel member. It
Yeah,
was a
it's not
mob
cartel,
boss.
Julie.
Okay, there's a difference. I'm
Mob. Okay.
sorry.
So when you talk about mob, Julie, you're gonna have to think of the mafia. The mafia and the cartel are totally two different groups. Uh,
Okay.
with the cartel, they're not. They're more of. They're not. How can I put this? When it comes to the cartel, they are more of a group of individuals who get together and um, run similar things that the mafia does, but the mafia is more like a family that runs businesses. Uh,
Yeah, that's right.
uh, that's like the cartel does the same thing, but the difference is you got to look at it as mafia as a family, and cartel is more of different people from different group.
Okay, because this guy orchestrated the mass shooting at a gas station.
Oh, geez, yeah. No, that's probably a mobster.
Yeah, I cannot. He's very famous.
You're talking about Al
I cannot.
Capone?
That's it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Al Capone. Yeah. He did see a ghost at Alcatraz.
Yes,
um,
I had completely forgot his name, but I was getting them confused there for a minute.
That's Alfonso Capone.
but I'm going to go ahead and start off with some information I have.
Let's hit it,
All
Crutel.
right. So, a cartel is a group of independent businesses or countries that team up to control prices, output, or markets like drug cartels dominating illegal trade or economic cartels fixing prices. Drug cartels, especially in Mexico, like the Sinaloa or the Jalisco, I mean, because it's actually an H, not a J. That's how they pronounce it. New generation are known for violence, trafficking, and drugs like fentanyl and cocaine, and battling for territory causing over 460,000 homicides since 2006. They're illegal in the U.S. and heavily targeted by law enforcement. Now let's dig deep on that real quick.
What'd you say?
Okay, so since
No, like I know what you
2006,
said, but what did you say a second ago?
okay, so since 2006, they've caused over 460,000 homicides since
Oh my
2000.
goodness,
Yeah,
Wow.
that's a lot.
that is a
Definitely.
lot.
Matt says OPEC is an open cartel.
Definitely. All right, let's see what else I have here. The Sinaloa cartel split between the Mayo Zambada and Los Chapitos factions, with Ishmael El Mayo Zambada and Joaquin El Chapo Guzman's sons, like Ovidio Guzman, leading them. The Jalisco New Generation cartel, or CJNG, is led by Jamiso Ohisgora Cervatus, Alice El Mencho, and the rivals fighting for control over areas like the Tijuana and Situde Jerez. Both groups use violence and have thousands of members trafficking drugs globally, especially to the US.
Yeah, they definitely traffic into here. I mean, look at all the tunnels that they find all the time going from the Mexican border under literally under the fence directly into here. And like that's why I've said a border wall ain't gonna stop what you want to stop. Like you can stop the immigrants, sure, but as long as they have shovels and ladders, you're never gonna be able to stop the cartel from getting their drugs over.
Oh
Definitely,
yeah.
yeah. Let's see what else I have on here. Okay, so for on the cartels, they're way bigger than the government wants you to think. They're not just drug runners. They control economies, private
Yeah.
officials, left and right, and even have their own private armies.
They
Some say,
also they also do sex trafficking and human trafficking.
yeah,
Yeah.
some say they're in bed with the CIA using drugs to fund black ops you'll never hear about. You think Mexico's the only place? Nah. They're they've got fingers in every pie, from Wall Street to Hollywood, laundering money through legit businesses. Ever wonder why the war on drugs never ends? It's by design. Do you follow any specific cartel news like the Sinaloa or CJNG? So these cartels aren't just chaotic criminals. They're like shadow governments. They use tunnels under the border, submersible drones, even satellites to stay ahead of the feds. Some folks on 4chan swear they've hacked election systems to keep their puppets in power. And don't get me started on the human trafficking. They're moving people like cattle, and half the time the rescues are the PR are just PR stunts.
Yeah.
You
And
ever
they
heard about the underground bases they
Just a second.
supposedly have? What do you think?
Crew.
They're what?
Julie said something.
I was gonna say, not to get off topic or nothing like that, but that kind of reminds me of someone that they are trying to deliberate on that trial this week because he was doing drugs, he was trafficking people across state lines. You know who I'm talking about.
Uh
P. Diddy.
yeah, P. Diddy.
Doesn't that kind of remind you of something? Because he knew people in law enforcement and he was always telling people, I can make you do this and that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that kind of just made me think about him.
So
All the stuff
Matt,
he could.
so Matt said China was dumping the ingredients for fentanyl in the USA purposefully, or a reason for the tariffs or ICE roundups.
Hmm.
Yeah, and Mexico.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah. So you ever heard about the underground bases they supposedly have? What do you think? They're just thugs or something more sinister?
I would say that with these underground bases that they supposedly have, of course, if you were a society of people that dealt in criminal behavior, you'd want a place to hide out in case things went bad. So why wouldn't you go underground? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And all that
Um,
white powder that they always try to
well,
smuggle
the,
around.
well, yeah, they're trying to they're just trying to push narcotics left and right, and it doesn't really matter what the narcotic is. If they can make money off of it, they'll push it. And
Oh, yeah.
honestly, Matt, I think with the whole ice roundups and everything, I think it's low key just another cash grab. And how I figure it is like I've had a lot of time to think about this. Basically, you round up all the illegals, right? And you send them back. And you make the government pay for it. The government that you're sending them back to pay for it, okay? It comes back into your pocket, the money that you literally get paid to for the immigrants to go back. And then later on, say 4, 5, 8 years, we have the same problem over again because there's more immigrants here somehow. They got through still. So then they just do it over again and over again and over again. And it's just an extra way to make money. It's human trafficking, but with like the government's doing it, they're doing it legally.
Yeah. And
Now
he said
that's
it's all
that's a
to the
little bit of a
tunnels.
harmful conspiracy, so we're not going to say that's actually happening. That's just a theory that I have.
Yeah. And he
Yeah.
said through the tunnels also.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the tunnels are everywhere. The cartel loves the tunnels. They dig the tunnels. They push the drugs and the people through the tunnels. That's what happens. They have found tunnels in supermarkets in like Texas. They have found tunnels in supermarkets in California. They have found tunnels in random houses. They have found tunnels that go just beyond the gate, like literally on the other side of the border wall.
Yeah.
So, there are tunnels everywhere. And some of these tunnels, they are made with like electricity and all kinds of shit. So, you know that they had money when they built that. The cartel had money when they built those tunnels. And a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
them are like militarized made, like so that they have like little areas to hide if a gunfight was ever to break out. The tunnel at the
Yeah.
Denver airport, is that what you said?
Yeah. He Matt just said that, or dumb. DUM the or yeah or dumb. But so who wanted? All right. So was it El Chapo you wanted me to get information on?
Yes.
I have that. All right. He was born in rural Mexico. Got the nickname El Chapo, meaning shorty, because he he's about 5'6" and started in the drug trade as a teen by growing marijuana. He rose to lead the Sinula, Sinulea cartel, became a billionaire smuggling tons of cocaine, heroin, and meth, and escaped prison twice before getting caught in 2016 and extracted to the U.S. Where's he now serving life plus 36 years? Or no, not 36, 30 years, sorry.
Who, El
Info
Chavo?
El
Yeah.
Chapo, yep.
So
And he doesn't even.
Do you believe that El Chapo's locked up? Do you think
Yeah,
he's actually locked up?
yeah.
Really?
Um,
You think he's actually locked up?
because here, hold on, I'll it gets deeper. Info from the web. In 2018, a hacker for El Chapo tapped into an FBI agent's cell phone in Mexico City CCTV cameras to track and kill informants. Also, his former lawyer Sylvia Delgado recently won a position as a criminal judge in Mexico's judicial elections, which stirred up some controversy. Well, his sons, Ivan and Alfredo, are still running a faction of the Sinulea cartel called Los Chapos, and they've been hit with U.S. sections for trafficking fentanyl. And back in 2015, El Chapo escaped prison through a tunnel his men dug from a nearby house. So he probably got caught and sent back in 2016.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he escaped twice.
I've heard rumors that El Chapo is not locked up right now and we're being lied to.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's true or not, but I've also heard that the man is basically a ghost. When he gets away, he gets away.
Right.
Yeah. I've heard
So,
those stories. And then
and he's gotten away
apparently
twice already.
apparently the prison that he's in supposedly they have where he doesn't even know what cell number he's in. He doesn't even know where it is. So I don't know if they had to blindfold him to take him out for the hour of sunlight he gets a day. But I watched that in a video today, and I
That's
thought,
crazy.
okay,
Hmm.
so you don't know where your cell is, you don't know the numbers, and so that's just
So
crazy.
certain
They do that because
prisons
he's
like
too
that.
smart.
Okay, so certain prisons are like that. It's because if you get an important person to the government,
Yeah.
and if the,
Is
if
there a picture of that prison?
I don't have a picture of it, no.
so
And
Mm.
because I'm on my phone, I can't get one.
okay, so let me put it this way to dumb it down a little bit, and a little bit easier for everybody to understand. So when you get an important person, right, like El Chapo, in the government's eyes, they're gonna do something like what you said, Julie, so that way, one, no one knows, including the prisoner, what number they are in, where they're at, and what part of the building they are.
Yeah.
Because it's secret. They want to keep it hidden so that way, one, this person, like El Chapo, can never be found.
Yeah.
Because the fact that they want to make sure this person cannot escape.
Yeah.
And they only allow certain people near him or her only because the people that they allow, these important people, is because they're highly trained professionals who know what they're doing, who know how to handle said people, and will not back down and are not easily to manipulate.
Right.
Yeah. We got a comment
We
from
got two
Matt.
actually.
Yeah,
The
the big
one
comment is a
is a
spam comment.
bot.
Yeah.
Also, the Clintons, they had or have a huge carpet rug empire.
Okay, well, I don't feel comfortable talking about the Clintons in that way, so
Me neither.
I'm gonna say comfortably. I don't know what the Clintons are involved in, but a lot of weird things happened and people die around them. That's all I can
Yeah.
really say,
Yes, I've heard that too, so I don't want
and
to say
that's
too
all
much.
alleged. It's all alleged. It's all a legend.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, here's the last thing I have because I have more factions. All right. There are tons of cartels, but the big ones in Mexico include the Sinuleo, led by factions like Los Chapos or Chapatos and Mayo Zambada's group. The Lisco New Generation, run by El Mincho, Gulf, Tijuana, and Herrera's cartels, all fighting for turf. They're trafficking drugs like cocaine and fentanyl, laundering money globally, and using violence to control routes. Infos from the web, pretty brutal stuff.
I
When
never understood why they would want to traffic something like fentanyl because fentanyl kills the people that you're trying to keep as customers. So, what is the point of supplying fentanyl at all besides it being a cutting agent? Because besides people cutting fentanyl with things like, and even then, if you put too much fentanyl into the cocaine, you're going to kill the person that is buying it. Goodbye, customer. So, what is the point of putting fentanyl in the freaking
it's a money
drugs?
grab.
Right? No, I get it, but you're not going to have any customers to sell to if you kill them all.
Do they care?
Yeah.
No, they don't
No.
care.
I'm just saying.
I know.
I'm just saying.
I see where you're coming from, Rob. You're right. You're absolutely right. It's stupid, but when it comes to illegal groups, right, like cartel or the mafia,
Yeah, Matt said fentanyl is so cheap to make, it's addictive and small. No, you 100% right. But you hear that these cartels will chop like they'll take half a brick of dope and insert a certain amount of fentanyl into it and chop it all up together and cut it all together and then ship that shit out. How do they know what is the safe amount to put in there? They don't. That is the
Yeah.
whole thing is they don't. They're guessing because the amount of fentanyl that will kill you, it's like take a ballpoint pen and take the pen out and look at the very tip of the pen. That much fentanyl will kill you.
right?
Wow.
Enough fentanyl to fit on the tip of that pen. That's how much will kill you.
Yeah,
And that's not a joke. That's real. So it doesn't make very much sense to me. I know it's cheap to make, it's cheap to process, it's easy to get. There's not a lot of regulations on fentanyl. It is a medical product. It can be bought literally through any medical advisor outside of the United States. It's actually quite crazy, like how easy it is to get your hands on fentanyl. I've never done it, nor will I ever do it. I've had medical grade fentanyl at the hospital, so I don't understand why people would want to sell fentanyl.
right.
Yeah.
I don't get it. It doesn't make
Me
sense to
neither.
me.
So, um, where was I at? Oh yeah. So basically, it goes back to it saying it's a huge list and it changes all the time.
Matt
But
said fentanyl could be made in your garage or garden shed.
yeah,
Sounds
but
Wow.
like meth.
yeah, but based on what Grok got, here's a rundown of major Mexican cartel factions over the years. You've got big ones like the Sinaloa, with groups like the Los Chalecos and the Los Ruos, Jalisco New Generation, Gulf Cartel, split into Los Metros and Los Rojos, Jerez, Tijuana, and Beltran Laiva, which splittered into South Pacific, La Mano, Con Olas, and others. Then there's the Knights Templar, La Familia Michoacana, which became La Nueva Familia. Cartels Undos, Zetas, and more, each breaking into smaller gangs like Los Caimanas or Los Leonos. Info's from the web, but it's fluid. Some dissolve, others pop up. Want me to focus on a specific one? It's a mess out there. Sure, there there's there are more factions like Tren de Agua.
The
Yeah,
Tren de Aragua.
yeah, thank you. Mara Salvatratos, Cartel del Nos Nordestas, and Labrador, all involved in drug trafficking and violence, often clashing with bigger cartels. Also, smaller crews like Los Negros and Los Antrax work
Mm.
as enforcers or trafficking cells for groups like Sinaloa. Infos from the web. It's a crazy network.
Um, do they say anything about like prison gangs, like the Mexican mafia?
I no
I always wonder if they like
no
if they have direct ties to the cartel or not.
no
That's
not.
an
I couldn't
interesting
find anything like
question.
that. I looked. I digged nothing.
And hey, is the Italian mafia any way related to the cartel at all?
No.
I don't think so, but I don't know if they've made any deals or not. You know, that's all done under the table and wouldn't be public knowledge for years probably because they would have to be
Yeah.
found out first.
So okay. So basically, I'll put it like this, because I'm a huge mafia nerd. I love mafia. Anything mafia knowledge, I know. Mafia will do business with anyone,
Yeah.
but they have a lot of rivals as well.
Yeah.
And one thing that they don't tolerate is certain people that go in their territory that they don't trust. And when
True.
you infiltrate their territory and you're not there to make business with them, it's bad.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
taken
they
down.
yeah, but that's the information I have and was able to get. So
All right, just one second.
okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that's always interesting.
Sorry
Yeah,
about that.
you're good. But yeah, I tried to get more information, but it kept giving me the Cinderella and the Herrera's New Generation ones, the two big
Mm.
ones.
Yeah, because those are some of the main ones. And
Krupia.
tonight we were
Krupia.
focusing more on the Mexican cartels.
You know what? Krupia. I like that. If we do another Mafia episode, I'll do Krupia.
Krufia.
Yeah,
Krufia.
so he
How
said
dare you
Croupier.
speak ill of my mother on the night of my daughter's wedding? What do you have to say for yourself, Krufia?
Oh, we'll have to do something on the mafia too.
Oh, we already have.
Well, I wasn't here for that night.
You watched the episode, didn't you, though, Julie?
Yeah, it's been
Okay,
a
so
while.
we actually, truth be told, we did talk about probably doing another part to the Mafia. We just never got back to it. We wanted to put it on the shelf because we wanted to focus more on different subjects.
Subjects, yeah.
But the Mafia is a big topic. Like, don't get me wrong, I love talking about Mafia all day. I could play Mafia games all day if I wanted to. One of my favorite Mafia games, truth be told, is Mafia, the Mafia 2, or The Godfather Part 2 and Godfather Part 3. Those are
Now, The
great games.
Godfather, that's a movie.
No, they made games of them.
No, I know there's even a book. I'm saying
Yeah.
that's a movie, brother. And
I
like,
know.
now that's a movie, as in that's one fucking crazy movie.
Oh
Yeah.
Not as in, oh yeah, bro, that's a movie. No.
Right. No, it's a good movie. It's a good
Yeah.
movie. And then you got Scarface, the
Oh,
movie.
hold up. I'm getting word from our sponsor that our video has to be played.
Oh,
Okay.
yep, you gotta watch Bigfoot, Suds.
I don't think people understand just how messy Bigfoot gets. Mud, moss, mystery stains. His laundry's legendary. But now he's got a secret weapon. Watch as Bigfoot wrestles a puny detergent. Oops, there goes the cap. Enter Sasquatch Suds. With Yeti-strength cleaning power and pine-scented freshness, even his fluffiest fur sparkles. Now, Bigfoot struts past campers. Wait, is that envy or just amazement? Sasquatch Suds, for fur and duds.
There you go. Have you gotten your Sasquatch Suds crew?
You already know it.
You better
Yep.
have. I put in for 13 orders. How many did you get, Julie?
How about 15?
That's
Guess
good.
how many I got?
I'm gonna think around 225.
No,
How
20.
many?
60.
You got 60 Sasquatch suds.
Yup.
No,
That
And
company is solely
I gave,
solely surviving just distinctively off our orders.
and
Oh,
guess
yeah.
what? I gave a few of them to some family members as gifts.
I'm sure you did. I bet you sent one to Tyler too.
You mean Bulmer? Tyler Bulmer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely did. Cause
Matt said he ordered a gross.
see okay, so we have an inside joke from me and
No,
Rob here. So we have a
no.
friend.
This was back when we were friends with this
Yeah.
person, and it was a joke back then, and they're not here to defend themselves, so we're
Yeah.
done with this conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. We called him our Sasquatch friend.
hey, I found a couple of Bigfoot videos today that were just so funny.
They're always funny, Julie. Come on.
The
I
big
sent
the
'em
Bigfoot
to
ones
you.
are great. They're
Yeah.
great.
Oh, I sent you a couple.
You still got me dead on that last one you had us
Oh,
watch on the
I should
co-op
send
show.
you that one too. But I sent them to Rob.
Here's to our first video tonight.
What should someone do if they encounter a cartel roadblock?
Slow down. If anything, I would probably avoid traveling through those areas. That's the number one avoidance. And I've actually gone through some of those myself. And it's all about they're looking out for the rivals moving through their territory. They're looking for government personnel maybe spying on them. And usually they'll just shake you down for some money and they'll let you go on your way. Unless you have a 4x4 truck that can use for their own purposes. 4x4 trucks are a commodity for them. They use them for their ongoing turf war.
So don't drive a 4x4 in Mexico.
Yeah.
I was actually a special agent with Homeland Security, so Mexican cartel related.
Did you ever see anything that's just like crazy?
One I remember was Border Patrol had caught this guy, and he starts telling me about how he's like the bodyguard for one of these high-ranking cartel guys, and he was telling me how he used to get extra money for every Mexican Marine that he killed. And what he would do is he would like slice off a piece of their ear or a finger or whatever, he'd bring it back to his boss, and he got extra money for every body part that he brought.
I couldn't handle that.
Yeah, it made me aware of the evils that human beings are capable of, so nothing really surprises me at this point, but it made me look at the world for what it really is. Unfortunately, there are some really bad people out there. It's not all sunshines and rainbows.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sadly, it isn't. Sadly, there is no such thing as sunshine and rainbows in this day and age, especially if you're getting cracked by the cartel.
Matt said, or don't drive in Mexico.
Right? No,
And
for
he
sure.
said that he ordered grass.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, has anybody went outside to touch grass today?
Yeah, I did. Did you?
I definitely did too.
I
Joy,
didn't.
did you?
No. I went outside, but I didn't touch grass today. That'll be tomorrow.
All right.
Do you know anything about El Chapo?
Yeah.
Okay, where is he?
They say that he's in jail, but he's not.
He's not.
He's not. You really think he's in jail?
Didn't he get out through the toilet?
He got out through a bathtub the first time. And like it tells you how much money he has. He has money to like dig in, go out, whatever. If he's in jail, he's running the whole thing.
Has to be, right?
Yeah. He has enough money to run the whole thing. That's why his wife didn't get anything. Like, I mean, listen, you have money, you get away with everything. They'll just put on a show that you're in here, they take your mugshot. You never know about them.
Do you know who El Chapo is?
Not a clue.
Can you walk us through?
He's literally one of the biggest drug lords in Mexico. Well, was one of the biggest drug lords until first the Mexican government tried to take him, right? And they took him, and then drug lords have their own armies.
Yeah.
So they like fought against them the first time, and killed a lot of people, he wasn't able to get in jail.
Yeah.
They took him in the second time. This time around, he went out through a bathtub because they digged a hole literally miles long. Miles long. They digged a hole, took him out through the tub. How do they? Listen, I don't have a construction degree. I don't know about this. But for you to know from one place to the other how to get out, inside job.
Has to be.
Inside job.
It's the same situation as my breakup note.
Yeah.
It had to be pre-done.
Yeah, exactly. Tie it all together. I like that.
Together.
But now he's supposedly here in the United States, right? He got extradited to the United States in jail. No, he's not. He's not. He's not going to be in a top security jail.
Yeah.
No, they're negotiating with him. They know what they're doing.
So is he still at large?
No, I think that he's living comfortably. If he's living in the jail cell, he has all the liberties to go in and out. And just when they take a picture for court.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if he's not in jail, then he has his own private island, bro. He has so much money.
Yeah.
I already know.
She makes a valid point, bro.
Yes, she does.
Yes, she does.
Matt said the Tell doesn't want drugs legalized. It would destroy them. It would save so much money for enforcement, prisons, crime, and insurance, etc.
Yeah, they won't ever do that. That's crazy talk for them to even want to ever do something like that. I mean, they've tested that in different places around the United States, even like Portland, Oregon, for a while had every single drug decriminalized, but that place turned into a shithole. So, yeah, no, that's probably never gonna happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Behind me is a Mexican Sicari, one of the men in the entire world, and we're about to interview him and get his story and understand his perspective.
Mi tercer hermano, sin ser cartel.
What did you want to be growing up as a kid?
Mecánico.
Mecánico. De carro?
Yes, de carro.
How many women have you been with?
Good question. Es una buena pregunta.
Thank you, man. I do this for a living. No, but I want to know what you as a person behind that. I want to see a spark in your eyes that isn't dead. So what do you laugh at?
Entre los cárteles por el poder. Quieren tener el poder del cártel más fuerte.
Igual, pues ya tengo 15 años de policía, 15 años de experiencia, de operativos fuertes, homicidio. Trabajar en Sinaloa es muy difícil. Estamos expuestos, estamos en la calle.
The people here have very little trust in the police force. Many believe they've been infiltrated by the cartels. How big of an issue is corruption?
Me hago llegar de gente honesta, de gente trabajadora. Pero sabemos que la calle es muy tentadora. Hay que unirnos y estar muy unidos para tener esa fortaleza para luchar contra ellos.
Yeah, so do you think that the cartel has a huge amount of police on their force?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably do.
Because of, the way, what I told you about P. Diddy, he threatened that one lady that he had police officers on his side because she went to two different police stations to try to get help.
This.
And she never could.
Right.
I'll put it like this. Okay, so when it goes back to also like with the mafia, right? if you're in a
Matt
big,
says it's the pay a pig program.
yeah. So basically, criminal organizations like Cartel and the Mafia, they'll pay government officials or police force hush money.
Well, it's the look the other way money.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's called hush money.
Right.
Hush money, when you're getting paid hush money, you're basically getting told, look the other way. You don't know nothing. You're on our side. It's a bribe.
Right.
Yeah.
So it basically been done over the years, and that's where you get the corrupt police force or corrupt government into play.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And it's never going to
100%.
stop. It's never going to stop because you're going to have those all the time.
No, because
Oh,
there's too many people and too much temptation and too much money floating around and too many rugs going everywhere. I mean, that's just what's happening.
Oh yeah.
There's too much money in all of that.
This cartel leader, This cartel leader ate human hearts. His name was Miguel Trevino Morales, also known as the Zeta 40, leader of one of Mexico's most feared cartels, Los Zetas. But what made him infamous was the cannibalism. He believed eating his enemies' hearts made him invincible. Some say he did it while they were still alive. Under his rule, recruits went through hell, executions, torture, even eating human flesh to prove loyalty. In one case, he ripped out a rival's heart and ate it in front of his man just to show them who he was. But that was nothing. He once tortured a rival with an iron, beheaded him alive, and forced his crew to watch. His violence wasn't quiet. He hung decapitated bodies from bridges, dissolved families in acids, and used chainsaws as weapons of fear. And he was behind one of the worst massacres in Mexico, the slaughter of 72 migrants in 2010. Then came the ovens, industrial crematoriums where enemies were burned alive. At his peak, he made up to $10 million a week from substances, extortion, and terror. He was finally arrested in 2013. If you guys want to listen to more cartel stories like this, then like and follow.
My goodness, that dude was crazy.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
And here's the thing. They've been
Matt
known
said the corrupt cop, or how do you know a spot a corrupt cop? They wear a badge.
Yeah. Well,
That's a terrible joke, Matt. Shame on you.
Well, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. But back to what that guy said about that one guy, right? A lot of cartel have been known to do crazy stunts like that.
Yeah.
For example, some cartels are known to run prostitution.
Yeah,
right?
prostitution rings.
And the prostitution ring, if you don't, if let's say, you want to get a prostitute, right? And you don't pay the money. Shit like what that guy does comes to play.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, you have to owe a certain amount of money to the cartel.
That too.
And usually it's like with the cartel and with any organization, it's anything over $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
If you borrow anything over $5,000 from the cartel, and it might even be less for them, then they come after you.
Oh yeah.
Then they come after you. That's not something you want either. You don't want you do not want to deal with a mafioso loan shark or a cartel loan shark. Screw that.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Pick up youngsters, and then they would cut them up into pieces, and like let's say they would leave the heads in a certain city, and they'll go drop off the hands in another city. They'll go drop off their feet in another city. But they like those kids might be like those kids that you see at the park at night playing basketball or playing football, but they just want to catch some, like they want to get someone just to put in the work,
Jeez.
Wow.
Some of the stuff that supposedly goes on in the cartels and these gangs that we don't know much about, or that we can't really like see what's truthful and what's not truthful are some pretty horrendous things. Like
Oh yeah.
the unaliving of children, that's horrible. And then moving the body parts to different states. Holy crap. When we're talking about true crime. Holy shit.
Well, it also goes this way, right? We see so many crimes all over the world. Did you know that, and this is a proven fact, in the southern part, there's certain parts, like in Oklahoma, right? You go into certain parts of Oklahoma that are so southern, so set in the old ways, that if you have a certain skin color, they will. There's been cases where Hispanics or Native Americans or anyone of skin color goes missing. Never heard of again.
I mean, it depends on where you're at, but I could see that in like the boonies.
Yeah.
He said, Matt said there are criminal gangs in every state. The government can't or won't do anything about it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then I know they use them for not just trafficking the kids, but they probably use it for people that need that surgery.
Oh,
if
for
you know
sure.
what I mean.
Oh,
I
for
can't think
sure.
of the right name, but
And if you don't pay a certain amount after your surgery, that person who got the surgery is screwed too.
yeah, that too.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy shit.
Yeah.
Guys, a really big shootout with the cartel happened in this ghost town. There's blood on the floors like go into a bedroom. What the hell? Oh, yo, what the hell? I think the cartels are here. A car just came flying through the road. Someone just came rolling through here off camera. I was trying to make an Instagram story, and they just drove past the road at like a high rated speed on a dirt road. Yo, we gotta be careful. A car just came speeding through here. For some reason, there's a large amount of tires on the property. It makes no sense to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Why are there so many freaking tires everywhere? Any ghosts in here? Cartel members that want to kill me with a hatchet? Oh, what the hell? Hail Satan 666? Where the hell am I? You know someone's probably done a ritual in here. Let's go link up with the guys and see where they are. Maybe we can... Hello? What the fuck was that? I'm shivering. Who's here? Are there any spirits in here that want to communicate with me? I just ran out of that house, honestly. That was kind of freaky. Just the tone of everything. Yeah, I don't want to be in there. I swear to God, I just heard something screaming from inside of this thing. It was like a very faint scream, but it was there. All I can think about is like freaking cartel guys showing up from the bushes any minute now.
Follow my page for more videos.
We got
Yeah,
another
that'd be
viewer right
freaky.
now, and it's from my Aunt Sherry. So hello, Aunt Sherry. How are you doing tonight?
Hi, Aunt Sherry. How are you?
Hi.
So, do you believe that that was really a house that was raided by the cartel, or do you think that's just clickbait for views on TikTok?
Could be either. I don't know. I mean, you never know with that kind of stuff. It could be a publicity stunt. You never know.
Yeah, well, I'm
Yeah.
always looking
'Cause
at
I
it in the
know.
fact that people are always trying to get views.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. And I know there's certain people that just like to be explorers.
Yeah. Aunt Sherry
But
said hello, guys. She is good.
We're glad you're doing good. Thanks for tuning into the show tonight.
They called him El Pozolero, the stew maker. His job for the cartel? Making bodies disappear. Fact number 1. Santiago Meza Lopez worked for the Tijuana cartel under Teodoro El Teo Garcia. At a secluded ranch in Baja California, he dissolved bodies in industrial drums of sodium hydroxide, a chemical used to strip flesh from bone. Fact number 2. Meza confessed to disposing of over 300 bodies, working 2 to 3 nights a week. He said victims would be brought to him already dead or still alive. Fact number 3. After 12 hours in the acid, nothing would remain but sludge and bone fragments, dumped into pits or sewers. Mass grave sites connected to him are still being uncovered. Authorities believe he wasn't the only one. This is cartel horror in real life. Comment your name for protection.
How crazy.
X-Ray said, hold on. Looks like just for views.
Yeah, probably. It probably was just for views.
Segment 1B, when the cartel turned on El Chapo. El Chapo didn't lose to the DEA. He didn't lose to the Mexican Marines. He lost to his own crew. When Joaquin El Chapo Guzman finally stood trial in 2019, it wasn't because law enforcement cracked some secret code. It's because over 14 of his own people flipped. Not enemies, not outsiders, his lieutenants, his partners, even his IT guy, the one who helped set up his secure encrypted network, gave the FBI full access to Chapo's digital secrets. Why? Because once he got caught, he realized, I'm dead in Mexico, or I talk and live in the US. And so he talked. That one flip led to decades worth of evidence. Message logs, hidden bank accounts, cocaine routes, names of other cartel members who thought they were untouchable. El Chapo didn't lose control, he lost loyalty. And loyalty is the first casualty when handcuffs come out. The most dangerous witness in the courtroom, the one who used to sit beside you at the table, now testifying against you on the stand. If you think flipped rats are what truly solve cases, drop a rat in the comments. You won't believe what these snitches get in return. Brought to you by Crime Cuts, Real Cases, Condensed. Like, follow, and comment if you want more deep dive breakdowns.
So El Chapo's own people sold him out.
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And I bet they
do we know
got
if any of those guys are still alive?
That's
I
what
don't
I
know.
was just saying. Wonder if he, his team got ratted him out. Wonder if he planned something else for his team,
Right.
so to speak. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. What's your thought on that, crew?
I'm with Julie on that, honestly, because it makes sense.
Ugh.
Drug lord Caro Quintero was a co-founder of the now defunct Guadalajara cartel and evaded authorities for over a decade after walking out of a Mexican prison and returning to the drug trade. The U.S. government hailed the arrest and said it would waste no time in requesting an extradition. Sinaloa, where Caro Quintero was caught, is one of Mexico's drug trafficking heartlands. He spent 28 years in prison for the brutal murder of former U.S. DEA agent Enrique Kiki Camarena, a notorious drug war killing that was dramatized in the Netflix series Narcos Mexico, and a low point in relations with the U.S. Caro Quintero has previously denied involvement in the killing. After his decades in prison, he was released in 2013 on a technicality by a Mexican judge, embarrassing the previous government.
A Mexican judge let that man out.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Over a technicality? Should we be keeping that man behind bars?
They're not going to do that because of the technicality. You know
Right.
how they got that mobster that I mentioned earlier?
Al Capone?
Yes. You know how they got him?
How'd they get Al Capone, Julie?
They got him because of tax invasion.
Yeah.
And Sherry said, if I remember correctly, he escaped twice, El Chapo.
He did. That he
Yeah.
did. You are right, Sherry. Aunt Sherry, you are 100% correct.
This is the story of how a middle-aged mom becomes the most feared woman by one of the most dangerous cartels in all of Mexico. Miriam, a regular civilian in San Fernando, a middle-aged mom, is looking for the florist. Most people in town don't even know the florist's real name. They just call him the florist because ever since he was a kid, he would just sell flowers on the street. He'd be standing on the corner, holding a few stems of flowers, looking very hungry. If it was a marketing tactic, it was definitely working. Anytime Miriam would make a big dinner, she was known for this, she would call all the kids in the area that looked like they could use a warm meal. She would call them over, and the florist was usually on that guest list. It's clear that nobody was taking care of him. That is Miriam's very first and most consistent memory of the florist. But it's interesting because he was just always in Miriam's life. Not really ever in her life, but just a side character that never fully went away. He was just always kind of there. Even later, when Miriam's youngest daughter Karen starts getting older, the florist would chase her down and try to give her flowers for free. Karen has this very bright, light-colored blonde hair, and she has a, quote, rosy complexion. And so a lot of people said it made her stand out in the area, and a lot of guys were interested in her, and I guess including the florist. But Karen would nicely reject the florist, offer him $1 or $2, knowing that he wasn't doing well, and then walk back to school. Karen was always very sweet with the florist. That's what Miriam is thinking about when she sees him down the walkway. There he is, the florist. She starts running up to him and then tackles him on the ground. She pulls out a loaded pistol from her trench coat jacket, jams it into his back, and whispers into the florist's ear, "If you move, I will fucking shoot you." She also knew the florist was now part of the Zeta cartel. He was part of the cell that kidnapped and killed her daughter Karen. She jams the gun deeper into the skin of his back, but she doesn't need to. He knows she will shoot if he moves, because this is not Miriam's first cartel takedown. The florist is her 11th target. Before him, there were 10. 4 are now in prison and 6 are now dead. The florist was about to be dead too, if he doesn't do as Miriam says.
But Miriam took care of him, right?
Took care of him, he's arrested.
No, I'm saying like Miriam was like giving him food.
Yes,
like,
when he was younger.
That's a crazy story, right? How one lady became like basically as scary as a freaking demon to some of the cartel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have 2 comments here. Matt said $10,000 in the judge's chambers technically.
Yeah,
And
technicality.
And then Aunt Sherry said he was recaptured in 2016.
Yeah, recaptured, relocated, put in a nice little cozy cell. Maybe not there. Who knows?
Yeah.
Some say he escaped again. Some say he never got recaptured. But I honestly believe he got recaptured.
No, he probably did get captured, because why would they lie about that? But the
Right.
thing is they would have a reason to lie if he got out.
Yeah. Hey, another video I watched today about his family.
Yeah.
His family had come to America with suitcases filled with moolah.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. That's their money.
Yeah, and so I don't know what they're doing with it, but
Aunt
I
Sherry
thought that was
said
pretty interesting.
probably black site.
Yep. She right, it probably is a black site where he's at.
What if the world's most dangerous drug cartel had eyes on U.S. federal agents? According to a bombshell Justice Department report, they did. A hacker working for the Sinaloa cartel, the same organization once led by El Chapo Guzman, infiltrated Mexico City's surveillance camera system and tracked an FBI official operating out of the U.S. Embassy. This wasn't just digital espionage. The hacker used the FBI's attaché's phone number to access call logs and geolocation data, monitoring every movement, every contact. Then it escalated. The cartel used the footage and data to identify informants, some of whom were later unalived. The incident, buried in a new Inspector General audit, happened back in 2018, but the report was just released. It's a chilling case study in what the FBI now calls ubiquitous technical surveillance, the dangerous overlap of commercial data brokers, state-run surveillance systems, and organized crime. The DOJ reports warn that criminal groups no longer need NSA-grade capabilities. Today, phone metadata, citywide camera access are enough to expose and eliminate federal informants. The identities of the hacker, the FBI official, and the victims remain classified.
Sherry said that a lot of people disappear at black sites or because of black sites, and they're never to be seen or heard from again.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've heard about black sites. I don't know much about them, but I've heard about them.
went down to the cartels and asked,
what do you think about Trump calling you and your networks terrorists? And how is this going to impact you? I had anticipated this reaction, but I didn't think that actually, we don't care. We're just going to wait 4 years. It's not that deep.
wow.
We're not going to fight them on it. We'll give them what they want to see. And we are not terrorists because there is a demand for our product. There are drug addicts all across the United States who want what we have to sell. How are we terrorizing them? We're not like ISIS or the Taliban bombing innocent people. We just supply a product that there is a demand for. And if this designation means that we have to hold off for a little while in order to protect our networks, that's exactly what we will do.
Oh, my trader just said, Shaitan, did you know your grandpa had top security clearance? I did not know that.
Yeah, well, he probably wouldn't tell most people, but yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then Matt said one black site is on Nibiru.
Hey, that's where the real crew is.
Yeah.
The biggest criminal organization in America doesn't run the streets. It runs the courtrooms. They wear black robes. They control who wins and who loses. And the system protects them at all costs. Judge caught fixing cases. Attorney convicted in bribery scandal. Court clerks erase records. 17 judges, 48 lawyers, millions in illegal case fixing. They called it Operation Greylord, the biggest judicial corruption bust in history. But here's what no one tells you. The playbook they used back then, it's still being used today. Procedural misunderstanding. Taking it under advisement. No further examination required. The Justice Cartel is still running, operating in plain sight. But for the first time ever, I'm pulling back the curtain and showing you exactly how it works.
We have 2 more comments here. Andrea said we have corruption everywhere, including in our government, 100%. And then Matt said new crew is better. Which, yeah, I've been saying that a lot lately about the corruption. Every episode we do, it's sickening.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, sickening.
It gets crazier and crazier every day.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
And I'm glad Matt thinks the new crew is better because you know what? I try. And then we have here, let's see. Trump is doing what your grandpa said needed to be done, clearing house.
Yeah.
Or cleaning house.
I agree. Yeah. I don't like some of the things or the way he's going about some things, but I do agree with you. He's cleaning house and it needs to be done. And I've said this the entire time is that whether or not you like the man, whether or not you like what is going on, everything that is happening for a reason. It has to. Yeah. Our government and our economy will collapse if things don't happen the way that they're happening now. And we've had people that have been stealing money off of the government teat for forever. Just been taking the money and taking the money and taking the money. There are congressmen that make $500,000 a year, crew. Nancy Pelosi is a stock trading wizard. How does that lady know what stocks to buy, bro? She is rolling in the dough. Yeah. I can name all different kinds of people. Like the corruption is so obvious that it makes leftists pissed off when you tell them. Leftists and liberals get really irritated when you tell them what's going on, and that's fine. I don't care if you like the man or not. Like, if you don't like the man, that's fine. If you think he's a rapist, that's fine. If you think he's a horrible person, that's fine. But the thing is he's in office for this time, you know, and they've tried to impeach him. They've tried to do everything that they could legally to get Trump out of office. It did not work, and the left just needs to stop. It just needs to stop. I'm tired of the political bullshit all over my timeline and all over my feed I'm so fucking sick about hearing about what Trump is doing or why it's going on. There's no need for it. The Democrats didn't do this when Obama was president. And
Right.
The Republicans sure as shit didn't go at that hard on Obama. I mean, a couple of them did, for
Yeah.
sure. There was the birth certificate bullshit and all that other stuff, but I don't personally believe that. I just think it's all theater. It's all political
Yes,
theater. It's all a giant
exactly.
fucking show, and I'm sick
Yeah.
of it.
Because I
And
was
then
going to tell you
we
about
have
that.
3 more comments here. We have from Anshay here. His progress is what the American people need. They just don't realize it yet, but they will. And then Elm Street said, it makes me think of Gary Webb and when he exposed the CIA funding rebels with drugs in South America and then unalived himself with 2 shots. Yeah, right. And
Yeah.
then Matt said congressmen get inside stock tips as part of their compensation. No joke.
Which should not be a thing. They should not be allowed to trade stock. I will stand here. I will die on that hill. They should not be
Yeah.
allowed to trade any stock for any bill that they help push through because that is bullshit. That is
Yeah.
bullshit. They should not be allowed to do that. We're not allowed to do that.
Right.
If
Yeah.
you got that information, crew, if you got that information and you did it and you got found out, you would go to fucking prison. You
Right.
go
Oh,
to
yeah.
prison for a good majority of the time. They got freaking Martha Stewart on insider trading,
Right.
and they
Matt,
Yeah.
only do it to people that they want to prove a lesson to, that they want to
yeah,
be like, this is you deserve this. I mean, bullshit. Like, stop.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
if
yeah,
if the congressman and the president gets to push, like, I'm sorry, like one thing I really freaking hate about Donald Trump right now, and I will say this is he's pushing all these fucking retarded products and I'm getting sick of it. I'm like, what president has ever pushed as many products as this man? Like,
right,
it's insane. He just pushed cologne and like deodorant or some shit to the public that he's created. He did the stupid fucking golden Trump shoes. I'm just like I'm like, why?
Yeah.
right. And
Why?
then Matt said, all the world is a stage. And
It
then
really
Avery,
is. It's all
yeah,
just a show. It's all a political show for everybody in the world to view and be like it's like the United States, Russia and China and Mexico and Canada and all these other countries are competing to be like number 1 on the world stage of America's country. Like it's absolutely retarded. Like
right,
it's so dumb. Cuz right now like we have Israel and Iran's bullshit, like which we keep getting told there's a ceasefire, right? Repetitively keep getting told that there's a ceasefire, but then we hear every other day that somebody's shooting a bomb at each other. So is there really a
Yeah.
ceasefire or is the war still going on? Nobody really knows.
right,
Then you have Russia and Ukraine, right? They're freaking bombing and killing each other too. And
Yeah.
then on top of that, you have these Indian countries, well, India and Pakistan that were just fighting and it's just war is a moneymaker, man.
right,
There's always going to be war because when there's war, Congress people get fat cash in their pockets, and people make lots of money. So and then the guns and the munitions that are made are traded to other places that are then sold and made and traded back to us. Goods transferred, money transferred. Everybody's fat, happy, and rich, and the fat cats make more money.
right.
Except for the poor keep getting poor.
Well, yeah,
But,
because the poor don't deserve the cash. That's
yeah,
Yeah.
basically how our monetary system works. It
Yeah.
benefits the billionaires. It is not good for the young population. Okay,
Yeah.
like
And you know that
I'm worried.
Bernie, you know that
I'm
Bernie
worried.
guy?
Yeah, Bernie Sanders is a fraud. I'm
He is.
worried. I'm worried about my son and his life. I'm worried about that because my son deserves so much better. And I think that Trump can push the world in the direction that it needs to go for that to get better. And I
Yeah.
hope he does. I hope he stops the bullshit. And I hope he just continues pushing forward and pushing the America First agenda, because I do like that. Like,
I did too.
and I'm tired of everybody saying it's neo-Nazi bullshit, because it's not. Everywhere else, in every fucking other country, it's that country first. You think they're going to send money to another country before they help themselves? Okay, maybe if you're the United Kingdom, right? Or maybe if you're Britain, or maybe if you're China, but not if you're. And China definitely does not do that. China definitely does China first.
Yeah.
You're crazy if they think they do anything else.
Yeah, and China's pretty smart.
Yeah, and then my Sherry said, in the end, there will be no more left. In fact, everything we know will change for the better. And then Elm Street said, I mean, stocks itself is bullshit in actuality. I do not invest myself, but the idea of its beginning was founded in corruption. And then and Trey said the corruption is so deep, it's ridiculous facts. And then Elm Street said the biggest black market criminals in the world, they say is Netherlands, and that's basically where the stock markets began.
I agree. I agree, but I'll also say the biggest criminals in the world wear suits and ties.
Mhm.
They don't
Oh,
wear
yeah.
tank tops and jeans. They
Yeah.
wear suits and ties.
He also said not only that, then destroyed the world because it was a thing. Every other day, LMAO, or the other forgotten war in Armenia. And then,
Oh yeah, dude, the Armenians. Holy shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a whole nother the Armenian genocide. Holy shit. That is a topic to get into at some point.
Right. And then we have 3 more comments here. 2 from Aunt Sherry. She said, people don't wake up. It will be too late for them to recover from the end product of the history that is becoming or new world in future, or world
Look,
has and is bad shape and trust, and who runs our world are the ones that have done to us. And then Matt said, yeah, criminals wear suits and ties. And then actually the people that run our countries are nothing but power hungry and corrupt.
Well,
Which-
look, look. This is how I see this. To the first thing that you read, or this comment right here. Our world has and is bad shape, and our trust in who runs the world are the ones who have done this to us. Okay, so Aunt Sherry, completely agree with you on that. But I will say that we, the American people, and the people of any country who's has corruption that is bad, just know that the people do allow it to happen. That's the thing, is we still fund these people. And until a group of people can get together and collectively stop funding these groups or pushing forward the Republicans or the Democrats. Like the thing that I hate saying, because I really don't like him, and to be quite honest, I really don't. It's Elon Musk. I used to think he was a cool guy, but I really don't like him very much anymore. I think he's a womanizer. But I think Elon did have a point when he said that if we don't fix the political system and get a third party, basically have a third class party that is actually noticed and has a spot on the ballot every time, that we're never going to get out of this corruption. And it's true. The left and the right both have prerogative to do some of the same things. That's why sometimes through 4 years, nothing changes. Do you remember there was a year, there was like 8 years where nothing changed. And then there was 4 during Biden that like literally nothing happened. So it's craziness, but it's to be expected.
Right.
Yeah.
And then right here, and sure he said, and we allowed it blindly. And then Matt said, stop voting, which you've said multiple times, Rob.
I mean, I have, but honestly, in today's day and age, right? If everybody stops voting, that's not really going to help anything.
Yeah.
They will basically, what'll happen then is the government will assume some form of political takeover and they'll just assign a president or they'll just assign somebody because they're not going to let the government fall apart that way.
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to you have to make them go broke.
Mm-hmm.
You have to stop paying them. You have to figure out the source of money that is going to the government or going to the corrupt people, and you have to cut off the funds, which is what Trump was trying to do.
Yeah.
In a way, with the Doge thing, with Elon and Big Balls and all that. He was trying to find the most corruption within these government programs and cut off funding to certain people who were pocketing money instead of doing what they were supposed to be doing with the money or how the money was received.
Yeah.
And I think the problem is there's so much corruption that even if you find it, you know, some of it you can't just release to the public because it's a multi-trillion-dollar company that is a militarized company that is supplying, say, nuclear weapons for the United States.
Right.
Yeah, and that's alleged, but like, what if there was a company that did that, you know, and they were involved in a lot of corruption? The government's not necessarily going to out those people, even if they find them, because they need those weapons.
Yeah.
Right. And then Elm Street also said, all the ongoing conflicts are basically territory industrial complex wars, Israeli settlements in Gaza, Russia once part of Ukraine,
for sure,
Azerbaijan settlements in Armenia. The only different ongoing one that happened is what chemical, biological, nuclear weapons proven when LOL. And then Aunt Sherry said Biden wasn't running the country; it was his puppets. And you're right. People need to be more proactive.
Well, it's just cut the funds off. That's what we have to do as people. Is we have to stop funding these people.
Yeah.
Because 90% of these people's campaigns are funded by the American people. Okay? And if it's not funded by the people, it's funded by corporations. If you stop giving money to those corporations that openly fund these people, they openly fund them.
Yeah.
Walmart openly funded Kamala Harris, right? I'm pretty sure they did.
Which she added into that one part to be more proactive in what is going on. Problem is everyone wants to argue about it. We need to stand together. And then she also last said, because united we stand, divided we fall, which is very true.
Well, yeah, we can't just sit here and argue with each other over everything and not do anything.
Exactly.
And that's why I am neutral, and I've always been neutral. None of my money goes to any campaign. I don't care who you are. I'm not paying you any of my hard-earned money. I already give enough to the government as it is.
Yeah, and Shirley said too that we need to stand together.
Yes, for sure. And more people need to open up and be open to things that may sound crazy, because some of these things do sound crazy. They sound absolutely crazy, because why would our government want us to suffer and not want us to thrive? Well, because if you look at it, that's how they make money.
Right.
If the poor stay poor, the rich get richer.
Yeah.
And then Elm Street said there's a video of Candace Owens going around where she believed women killed their partners as much as men, proven she living in a box, and then Andrew bunch of laughy crying faces. I'm sorry. I'm just passionate about this because of my dad. Which, you know what,
So,
Andrew, you're right, because I'm passionate about this too, because Grandpa.
so Elm Street, with the whole, there's a video of Candace Owens going around where she believed a woman killed her partners as much as a men. So you're saying that women kill their partners just as much as men, correct? There's not just a woman. She believes women in general kill their partners as much as men. And if that's true, then yeah, she probably does live in a box there because I don't believe that for a second.
Yeah.
I don't believe that for a second. It's like the whole like I'm sorry to anybody that this offends, but I really just don't give a fuck anymore. This is my opinion about it, and I have to say it eventually. Trans
He.
women in sports, no, it cannot happen. We cannot have trans women in women's sports. Why?
Yeah.
Because those are men and they will kill women's records, and there will be no more women's sports because there will be a bunch of women that aren't women winning those sporting events.
Yeah.
Right.
So
He said that
can't have
women
that.
are just as capable as men are.
And then LMAO, men are the crazy ones. Yes, I'm a man. And then Aunt Sherry said, neither do I. Agree 100%.
Yeah, I can't go like that's the problem with the left right now. The extreme left right now is fighting for a ongoing issue that honestly didn't never affect nobody, and if we had just kept it to ourselves, the whole world would have been fine.
Yeah.
But now there's this whole movement that's spun off of the original LGBT movement that is now the LGBTQ plus movement. Like what?
Oh my goodness.
So
Wow.
I'm
Glad June is
confused.
over. June is done.
You know, I don't hate. I don't hate. So I don't care if people are homosexual. I just care that you don't push it on other people or the people around you. That's all I care about.
Exactly.
I don't care about your sexuality or your sexual orientation. I don't care that June's Pride Month. I wish it wasn't because, you know, there's a lot of other things that go on in June that are very important. And I'm
Yeah.
not just saying that because my birthday is in June. I'm saying that because there are other significant things that go on in June.
Like Juneteenth.
For
Because
instance,
there's
this year
mental
was
health month.
well, yeah, Men's Mental Health Month. There's a veterans thing that goes on,
Juneteenth.
and
Yeah.
yeah, Juneteenth too. I mean, it. I just think it's wacky that there's an entire month for this, but that's fine, I guess. It's just it doesn't bother me. It's just we need to stop pushing the narrative on the children. We need to stop pushing the narrative on the people that are too gullible to think for themselves.
Yeah.
That's the problem with a lot of the woke community, man.
Well,
Yeah.
see, there's a big difference though, because some of the things you see that are labeled as woke are actually fake news. Okay, like some of it really is fake news. It's not even real. It's a made up fucking story that they're telling people. Okay,
Yeah.
and the left and the right both do it. They
Oh
both
yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Elm Street said, well, the only reason capitalism works is free trade. It's broken if not. And all the tariffs and free trade, including all these modern day sanctions, etc., over politics, not economics.
Well, when it comes to the tariffs and the free trade and things like that, so what's the benefit of trading with everybody for free? Can somebody answer that for me? I don't think there's a benefit.
I don't think
No.
there's a benefit either.
So if I have to move a product from China to the United States, why shouldn't there be some kind of monetary transaction once I enter United States water? Like if I want to drop all of this stuff off at the port in Chicago, or not Chicago, in like California or something, or Florida, if I want to drop all this stuff off in the port, how come they shouldn't have to pay us something to do that?
Right. And then
should we have to pay other countries? Because we do.
Yeah.
But the United States doesn't import a lot. Like we don't import out a lot of things. We actually buy a lot of the imports.
So, okay, so this is for my Aunt Sherry. I have friends and family that are going through either changes in what sex they are or like same sex, and I don't have issues with either, but there are places they belong and places they don't.
Yeah, like if the bathroom situation, just please use the community bathroom. There is one. There is
Yeah.
one. It's called the family bathroom. If you want to use that, then go use that. Stay if my daughter is in the bathroom or my wife is in the bathroom and you're a bearded man in a dress going into a bathroom, I am going to lose my mind. I'm just telling you now. Like you're not a woman and I will lose my mind and I will gladly lose my mind to protect my family.
I don't blame you one bit.
Yeah. So, and I think a lot of people would.
Yeah, because I got my aunt is always saying if she goes in the Target, she won't ever use their bathrooms. She'll make sure she uses the bathroom at home or somewhere before she goes in there.
It's like I said though, like I think it would have been best had politically and just openly had people just continued with their lives and not made such a spectacle of everything. Because even before all of this, you know, like we were with the same things were still going on. The same things were still going. They've always been going on.
Well, that's the problem with
Okay, like
clubs.
the Greeks and the Romans had these people too.
Well, it also goes with nowadays clubs have unisex bathrooms where both genders can go in at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's a lot of issues with it. I don't want to get stuck on this topic for too long. I don't I have no hate towards any of those people. I don't think anybody in this podcast does. But what we don't like is we want all of that to stay away from children and we want all of that to stay between two consenting or more consenting adults. It should be between consenting peoples who are of adult age.
Right. Elm Street said tariffs is a Western civilization thing feeding off of the East. That's how it began, and it helped regulate trade. Then it was used to help companies beat their competitors who had to pay the tariffs.
See you later, Aunt Sherry.
Yes, see you later, Aunt Sherry.
Thanks for tuning into the podcast tonight. No, the tariffs are a crazy thing. Like, well, they're not crazy, obviously, but they were crazy to us because we were hearing so much like negative things about them because Trump wanted to enact them. But in all reality, when you look at the who was paying tariffs, a lot of people were getting some over on the United States and had never paid us tariffs, but we were paying them tariffs of up to 35%. So
And you
that's
know,
a problem.
I hadn't really ever heard of tariffs until he started talking about them.
Yeah,
I
no,
just don't ever remember.
it's because the government wanted to keep that out of the public. And the reason why they wanted to keep that out of the public was because they can control the economy in different ways. They don't want the public to know all of the different ways that they can control the economy. So
Yeah.
when Trump brought back up tariffs, it hit a sore spot with Democrats and liberals alike because they feel for like whatever reason that they're doing something wrong or they're hurting somebody in the long run. But in all reality, it goes right back down to money. Is if they have to pay a tariff, do you think these companies are going to want to sell to us extremely cheap?
Right. And then Elm Street said tariffs make no sense than to regulate a competitor. There's no good agreement happening. We also used Canada as CIA guinea pigs and didn't pay them nothing.
Exactly. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Which all that goes with the fact that how it shows how bad the government is corrupt and how they just allow the back to on topic for a second, back to the cartel, letting them do whatever they want because they just don't care.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey.
we were way off topic, but the thing is we actually aren't off topic
Well,
because
you're right. You're right. Elm
the
Street, to be
the
fair,
reason
we were way
the
off
reason I say
topic.
we're not well listen the reason I say we're not off topic is because the cartel deals with corruption.
Oh
The
yeah, all
cartel
the
deals
time.
with corruption within the government. Yes, we got off topic when it came to the weird sexualization going on in the states right now, but that was because we had another passionate viewer on that was talking about it.
Yeah, Elm
Um,
Street brought up something good and good that relates to what we're talking about. Cartel did get mad funding from CIA and probably FBI in the same way. Then we
I
get
mean, do we have proof of this? Because
uh,
I've heard the same thing, but do we have legitimate proof of this?
we got a question from Kick, by the way.
Yes, we KFC is yeah, you. We do answer chat questions, but only if they're appropriate. KFC is what I'm going to call you because I am not repeating your username. Sorry.
Elm Street said, "Have you ever heard of LA Rampart Division in California? It wasn't CIA or nothing, but they sold drugs to crimes and killed competitors as law enforcement. The proof is Gary Webb and how he died." That's from Elm Street.
I have not heard of the LA Rampart Division in California. It was CIA. Well, I think I did hear about Gary Webb. So I do understand what you're talking about here. Yeah, it being cops, for sure. I don't know. I don't know how to say that we would have proof though of like some monetary trail from the CIA to the cartel, even though I'm sure there probably is one somewhere.
Elm Street said it was a cop gang task force for ran by corrupt cops.
Ran by corrupt cops. Yeah, I agree. Like that's definitely true, and I think that happens. Like, so I'm not gonna put that. I'm not gonna say that's not true. I don't know the whole story behind Gary Webb. I can't ask Rock anything right now, sadly, because I have to get a new computer, and I'm using my phone to film. So I'm going to have to get a hold of Grok through my new computer once I get it, hopefully.
The greatest CIA whistleblower says it too.
Cool. We're gonna have to look that up because that's something we totally overlooked tonight.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
said, look, a documentary called On Company Business. Philip agree.
Okay. So, crew, when you think about the cartel and you think about El Chapo, like what would be the scariest situation for you to end up in if you were a tourist in Mexico?
The routes.
Like because you wouldn't know where to go.
Right.
Is
Because
that
my issue is if I go on a wrong route and I don't know it's a cartel route, I'm gonna have to be cautious and you know keep my cool.
so? Let me tell you something crazy. When I went to Honduras
Mhm.
and I took a cruise to Honduras with my family, right?
Uh-huh.
And my dad and I get onto this little like cart thing that it's more like a bus and they're driving us. It's a bus that's like open, it's like a double decker bus, but it's like open kind of like there's no sides to it. It's just people sitting there and the whole bus is open.
Right.
Well, we drove by these guys that were standing there that were heavily armed and they were not policemen. Like we knew immediately that those were probably gang members of some Honduran cartel gang or something.
Right.
And basically the rule was stay with the tourist people and always have a buddy because if you have a buddy you're less likely to get snatched.
Yeah. Let's see. Elm Street said Philip agreed the first Snowden. I've been there a few times, never had a problem there, and you don't go off road. They don't mess around down in Honduras, which is another CIA op, which is proven.
Yeah, I don't know much about the gang activity in Honduras, but if Honduras's gang activity is CIA ran, that is crazy. Like that is and if we have proof of that or can find proof of that, I would absolutely love to deep dive into that because I witnessed that myself. Like absolutely insane. I went or not scuba diving. It's what's that snorkeling in Honduras?
Yeah, probably. I think
Let's
that's what it's
see.
called.
Elm Street said every country you can name, basically, CIA has been there. Not every, but I mean, in South America.
What do you think about places like Tijuana? I've heard Tijuana is really nice, and then I've heard Tijuana is completely ran by the cartel.
Just like Brazil.
What part of Brazil? The whole thing?
Well, I don't know, because I know there's parts of it that are run by cartel, and you gotta be careful, because, I mean, they'll come out with their guns blazing. And I know there's probably other touristy spots that are probably pretty decent.
What about
I've
genital
watched too
herpes,
many
bro?
movies.
He said his buddy got it.
Oh, went down and he screwed some girl drunk and he got herpes or warts or some shit. Oh my god.
I went
Oh,
with
that's
him, and
ridiculous.
he screwed some girl drunk.
Oh
Wow.
no.
I've watched too many movies. Like Fast and Furious 7, I've watched, where they went to Brazil and just all sorts of different movies about different
That's when Elm
places.
Street's friend was coming back home. He's like, I'm really happy, but I'm kind of sad. Sadly, guys, because I got the clap. Clap, 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 clap. I got the clap. Yes, I do.
Uh,
Shit, man. That
that
is not a
sucks,
fun
Elm
thing to go
Street.
through.
That sucks, Elm Street. For the guy. But he said he's
Oh,
now
shit. He has
married.
it forever. The clap goes away. Oh,
He
no.
said he's now married to a woman 10 years older. He met on an
That's not good, Elm Street. I'm so
dating.
sad that that man has to live with whatever he
Yeah.
contracted forever. That's herpes. Herpes is forever. Oh
He
man.
says now, nah, he has it forever. Clap goes away.
Yeah, because he said herpes. So, and herpes is one of those diseases that stays with you for life. Don't go to Tijuana. It's trash unless you want to get drunk. That's what Elm Street said. Tijuana. No
thank
Tijuana.
you. No, thank you.
Man, Tijuana. I've never been to Tijuana, but I've been to Cancun, and I've been to the Mayan temple that's out there, and I can't remember which one it was. Was it? It may have been Chichen Itza. I think I've
My
been to
uncle.
Chichen Itza. Yeah, something like that.
Right.
My uncle went to Cancun.
To
'Cause he was in the
Cancun.
yeah, he was in the Marines and National Guard stuff.
Cancun is terrible though. Like, well, at least the point that we went, it was terrible. Like, there was just people on the beach trying to sell you something every 5 feet you walked, and it was mostly just drunk old guys sitting on the beach.
Yeah, and then you know that what's the place? He was a guard for the prisons in Guantanamo Bay when they had that stuff going on.
Right.
So he was off.
What were you about to say, Julie?
I was just saying, so he was a prison guard for them.
Elm Street just said they destroyed the Aztecs' history. The capital is where the Aztecs were, but the lake is all gone and no remnants.
Yeah. It's sad. I wish that people could, like, leave things for other people to see in history to, like, actually be available to people that want to study it. But somebody always wants to put up a new shopping mall. Somebody always wants to build houses. Somebody always wants to dig a mine. Somebody always wants to do something stupid, or somebody just wants to cover it up for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Don't even go to Mexico City. Trust. Go to places more east side of Mexico.
Okay.
Is what Elm Street said.
Yeah, no, I read it too. That's probably good info and good advice.
Oh yeah, 'cause my friend had to take her daughter and granddaughter up to the border of Mexico for a doctor's appointment, and she's always terrified whenever she goes up that way.
I mean, the border probably isn't the worst place you could be. It's once you get on the other side of the border.
Yeah, but
And
she's always afraid of, she's always
they
talking
said
about locking her doors and.
they said civilians don't really get fucked with on the other side of the border unless you have a 4x4 truck. If you have a 4x4 truck, you
Then
may
you're.
get robbed by the cartel. Yeah, just
Yeah.
because they can use that truck and they like that truck. They love that as a work truck, and they don't want to pay for one. They'd just rather take yours.
Yeah, it was San Angelo.
Elm Street just
Yeah, the Elm
said.
Street said the border towns are bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like San Angelo or something. Might have been San Angelo. I think
Right.
that was the border town.
On both sides, it's bad. Yeah, for sure. No, I've heard that once you get across the border, like I have buddies that did go to Mexico, and they did drive to the border and go through. They said as soon as they got across the border, there were people that stopped them, immediately stopped them, and they were not police officers. They were definitely like cartel members or gang members that stopped his car, and they asked for a bribe immediately. They wanted a bribe.
I've heard of that.
So yeah, he just gave him $50 and they let him go. Like, that's what happened.
Yeah, 'cause there was something in the news a few months ago where a lady went over there for a doctor's appointment
Yeah.
and she went missing. And they never did, they found her deceased, I believe.
Oh man.
Elm Street said every crime in California on the run dips to Mexico, and that's where all them reside around on both sides of the border.
Yeah. No, I believe it. The gang activity is terrible.
Oh yeah, it is.
Said 2 out of 5 of them survived, Julie.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Because I know there was a couple of them, but
Yeah. So, guys, it is getting up to the hour and 50-minute mark here. We usually go for about an hour and 55 minutes. As I said last night, I am so sorry. I apologize to everybody for cutting the episode super short last night. I had some weird thing happen with my nerves, ended up having a panic attack, and got extremely sick. So, I am back. I feel a lot better, and I'm sorry for last night. We're going to make it up on our next Skynet episode, which we'll let you know on the Facebook page and the Robert and Crew Facebook page, and any other page we have, such as the Twitter page, when we will go live next. With that series specifically. And then also, Julie, did you have fun tonight?
oh yeah.
Did you learn something new?
Eh, a little bit. I kind of got confused between the cartel and the mafia.
Yeah, they're easy to confuse.
Yeah, they
And
seem very similar.
They are
well,
in a way,
extremely.
but you
The
gotta
mafia is
remember,
technically the America's cartel.
yeah, they're more family oriented than Cartel.
Elm Street said he thought it was a lady and a guy who survived. He said, "I don't know though. It was a horrible story."
It was very
But
horrible.
before we go, we usually show this sometimes in the middle or at the end of each show because it is something we're doing now. Rob, can you pull it up, please?
Oh yeah. So you're talking about the donations bar.
Yes.
So we have this Venmo account. If anybody wants to send donations, this is where you send them to. They're not needed or necessary, but they are welcomed. And thank you in advance from the Robert and Crew Show. All right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap up for tonight. Crew, do you have anything you want to say before we go?
I'm not sure what we're gonna do yet for tomorrow, but like, subscribe, share with your friends.
Stay safe out there.
And stay safe out there.
Peace. Much love from the Robert and Crew Show. All right, guys. Good night.
Night.
Everybody wants answers, but nobody's asking the right questions. This is gonna blow your mind. And maybe make you laugh too. Welcome to the Robert and Crew Show, where we dig up conspiracies, chase UFOs, and turn the weirdest news into wild stories. Join Robert, Crew, and Julie every week for secrets, laughs, and the unexplained. Season 6 is streaming now. Follow us if you dare.